All right, let's talk AI. You hear about it everywhere, right? But today, we're going to cut through all that noise, all the hype, and get right down to the factory floor. We're talking about the real, measurable impact AI is having on the way we actually make things.
So here's the big question we're tackling. Is artificial intelligence just another buzzword, another fad, or are we looking at the actual future of manufacturing? Well, the best way to find out is to look at what real companies are doing and the real results they're getting. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at why factories are under so much pressure to change. Then, we'll talk about what AI actually is, the new brain of the operation. We'll see it in action, check out the bottom line numbers, and then we'll peek into what's coming next, which is pretty mind-blowing.
Okay, first up, the factory's breaking point. Before you can really understand why a solution like AI is so important, you have to understand the problems it's trying to solve. And right now, for manufacturers, those problems are piling up, and they're piling up fast.
I mean, just look at this. Manufacturers today are in a total pressure cooker. You've got costs going through the roof, you're competing with companies all over the globe, and we've all seen how fragile supply chains can be. On top of that, there's a serious shortage of skilled workers, customers want everything customized, and you've got to be sustainable. The old way of doing things, it's just not cutting it anymore. So, how on earth do you deal with all of that? Well, that brings us right here. AI, the new brain. And we're not just talking about some new tool or a software update. This is a totally new kind of intelligence for the factory itself.
So when we say AI in manufacturing, it really boils down to three things. These systems can learn from data, they can adapt to whatever is happening on the floor in real time, and they're always constantly getting better. It's a living system, not just a fixed set of instructions.
This slide really hits the nail on the head. Think about traditional automation, right? It's like a world-class sprinter running the 100-meter dash. It does one thing perfectly, over and over again. But AI is like a quarterback. It sees the whole field, reads the defense, and calls an audible at the line of scrimmage. It doesn't just follow the script, it adapts to win. Here's a simple way to think about it. The machines, the robots, all the equipment on the floor, those are the factory's muscles, doing the physical work. AI is the brain. It's the intelligence that's coordinating all those muscles, making sure they work together in the smartest, most efficient way possible. Okay, enough with the theory. Let's get to the good stuff. How is this brain actually being used on factory floors right now to solve real-world problems? Let's start with a huge one, predictive maintenance. See, in the old days, you just wait for a machine to break down, which would shut down the whole line. Total disaster. Now, AI systems listen to the machines, analyze data from sensors, and can actually predict a failure before it happens. And the impact is just massive. According to Deloitte, this approach can slash equipment breakdowns by up to 70%. 70! Imagine that! That's a complete game changer, turning a costly surprise into a scheduled, easy fix. And this isn't science fiction. Look at BMW. They're using AI to monitor the sound of their conveyor systems. By picking up on tiny, irregular noises that a human would never catch, they prevent over 500 minutes of catastrophic downtime every single year. That's a lot of cars that roll off the line on time, thanks to an AI that's listening. All right, next up, quality control. Humans are pretty good at spotting defects, but we get tired, we get distracted. AI-powered cameras, though, they can inspect thousands of parts a minute with superhuman precision, catching microscopic flaws every single time. Get this. A medical device company pointed an AI camera at its assembly line. The system watched to make sure every single screw was in place. The result? They cut their scrap rate by 60%. That's not just saving money, it's ensuring that a critical medical device is built perfectly. Okay, so this brings up the big question everyone always asks. Is AI going to replace people? Well, a huge focus in manufacturing is actually on the opposite. It's about worker augmentation, using AI to help humans, not to get rid of them. It's really about creating a partnership. You have collaborative robots or cobots doing the backbreaking, repetitive, or dangerous jobs. AI can act like a virtual coach for a new hire, showing them the ropes. It automates all the boring paperwork. And this frees up the human workers to do what we do best, solve the tricky problems and innovate.
So we've seen how it works, but does it actually pay off? Let's do a little rapid fire round here and look at the real world return on investment, because at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. Take Foxconn, the massive electronics maker.
They brought in AI-powered robots to handle some really delicate assembly tasks. The result? They boosted their production capacity by 35%. And here's the kicker. They did it without making their factory any bigger, just smarter. And it's not just about what's happening inside the factory. An auto parts company used an AI scheduling system to organize their whole operation. They saw a 25% jump in on-time deliveries. You know what that means? Happier customers. So when you pull it all together, the picture is just undeniable. For one auto parts manufacturer, productivity shot up by 25%. At the same time, unplanned downtime plummeted by a staggering 67%, and maintenance costs were nearly cut in half. I mean, come on, that is the very definition of working smarter. So that's what AI is doing today. But what's really exciting and maybe a little scary is where this is all headed. We are right on the edge of the next big leap, the fully autonomous factory. I mean, just look at how fast this is moving. A few years ago, it was all about basic rules. Then came predictive analytics. Today, computer vision is becoming standard. And the next stop on this train, arriving right about now, is something called agentic AI. And this is a whole different ballgame. If the AI we've been talking about is like a brilliant co-pilot offering suggestions, agentic AI is the pilot. It doesn't just assist. It can autonomously run and orchestrate the entire production flow, making its own decisions to hit goals. It's in charge. And that really brings us to the final question to chew on. With systems that can learn, adapt, and pretty soon run themselves, are we just making our old factories smarter? Or are we actually in the process of building an entirely new kind of factory altogether? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.